Carter just told me we need to keep one of Doug's horses in prayer. It was laying down on him yesterday trying to call it. And Carter texted him this morning and he said he was looking good at daylight, but he's not looking real good right now. So it's that one he's been riding.
Prayers for
Doug and the horse.
More job for you?
You got everybody there?
You got him.
Hiding from you now.
Alright, so we're going to go to Proverbs 7. When I read this morning, it says a warning about the immoral woman and stuff. Whenever you read it and you go through it, to me, it was a lot about sin. Okay? The way sin sits there and tantalizes you with this and that and tries to get you to come on in. Hey, I got all this laid out. It's ready for you. Come on in. You're supposed to be here. And everything. And if you read that, that's really what I get out of it. It starts off because the Proverbs is teaching us how to gain wisdom and what just and what not to do and everything on it. So it says, follow my advice, my son. Always treasure my commands. Obey my commands and live. Guard my instructions as you guard your own eyes. Tie them on your finger as a reminder. Write them down within your heart. Love wisdom like a sister. Make insight a beloved member of your family. Let them protect you from an affair with an immoral woman, from listening to the flattery and promiscuous woman, of a promiscuous woman. While I was at the widow's house, at the window of my house, looking through the curtains, I saw a naive young man, and one in particular who lacked common sense. He was crossing the street near the house of an immoral woman, strolling down the path by her house. How many times do we all float right beside sin and say, you can't get me, we're all right, and stuff. So, he crossed the street again. It was at twilight in the evening as darkness fell. The Roman approached him seductively, dressed in sleight of heart. She was brash, rebellious type, never content to stay at home. She is often in the streets and the markets, listening at every corner. She threw her arms around him and kissed him. With a brazen look, she said, I just made my peace offering and fulfilled my vows. You are the one I was looking for. I came out to find you, and here you are. My bed is spread with beautiful blankets, with colored sheets from Egyptian linen. I've perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let's drink our fill of love until morning. Let's enjoy each other's caresses. For my husband is not home. He is away on a long trip. He is taking a wallet full of money with him and won't return till later this month. So she seduced him with her pretty speech and enticed him with her flattery. He followed her at once, like an ox to slaughter. He was like a stag caught in a trap, awaiting the arrow that would pierce his heart and bring him to death. He was like a bird flying into a snare, little knowing it would cost him his life. So listen to me, my son, and pay attention to my words. Don't let your heart stray away towards her. Don't wander down her wayward path, for she has been the ruin of many, many men have been her victims. Her house is the road. Her house is the road to the grave. Her bedroom is a den of death. To me, looking at this and stuff, you get in there, you got your sin that you're running down the road with. It's always right there. It always has that allure that, hey, this is really fun over here, especially with our young people. Okay? As we get older, we get that wisdom that, hey, this is wrong. We know it's wrong. Stay away from it. But as we're young, if we fall into that trap, we never get that wisdom to bring us out of it. So even as, I know some of us are older in age, but some of us are younger in wisdom. So we have to watch out for that trap that thing is setting out there every time we turn around. I mean, just watch TV, watch a commercial. You don't even have to watch a movie, just watch a commercial. And everything is being pointed out there to you. Hey, come on, this is great, this is fine, everybody says it's good, there's nothing wrong with it. But then you read the Bible and you find out what you're trying to do is completely wrong, way away from what the Bible's saying. And that's where you got to have that wisdom of the Bible and the knowledge. And us as adults should be passing that on to our kids and bringing them along with that. I've been scarce on that myself. I need to do more than I do, I guarantee you. But, and as adults, we need to hold each other. We are that family that they talk about that keeps each other safe. That looks out for that one that is doing that promiscuous thing and say, hey, that ain't right, come on over here, pull back, come on back. Because if we don't do that, that person's going to wander down that path and that immoral woman's going to get a hold of him and pull him into that place he doesn't need to be, either she or him. If you look nowadays, if you actually just step back and look, how much stuff is wrong now that wasn't wrong before, or that's not wrong now that was wrong before? I mean, just in listening to the words that are said on TV, the cuss words that are used, the slander that's used, and everything that's being used on there. None of that 50 years ago would have even made TV. Would never even been on it. So it all makes a difference on what you're doing. And that's what that passage put to me this morning whenever I read it. So like I said, this was pretty quick stuff there, but that is the allure of that pernicious woman sitting there bringing us to sin. And we have to have that knowledge and wisdom and people around us to keep us away from that sin. So then you look at Proverbs 8. And it is a wisdom calls for a hearing. Okay, so basically this is going to take you the other direction. Listen as wisdom calls out. Hear and understanding raises her voice on the hilltop along the road. She asked her, stand at the crossroads. Be the gate at the entrance of the town. On the road leading in, she cries aloud. I call to you, all of you. I raise my voice to all people. You simple people, use good judgment. You foolish people, show some understanding. Listen to me, for I have important things to tell you. Everything I say is right, for I speak the truth, and detest every kind of deception. My advice is wholesome. There is nothing deceivious or crooked in it. My words are plain to everyone with understanding, clear to those with knowledge. Choose my instruction rather than silver, and knowledge rather than gold, pure gold. For wisdom is far more valuable than rubies. Nothing you can desire can compare with it. Wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. All who fear the Lord will hate evil. Therefore, I hate pride and anger and arrogance, corruption and perverse speech. I'll get it out in a minute. Common sense and sources belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Because of me, kings reign and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help, and nobles make righteous judgments. Excuse me. I love all who love me. Those who search will surely find me. I have riches and honor. I will also enduring wealth and justice. My gifts are better than gold, even the purest gold. My wages are better than sterling silver. I walk in righteousness in the paths of justice. Those who love me inherit wealth. I will fill their treasures. The from the beginning before he created anything else. I was appointed in ages past. At the very first, before the earth began, I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he made the earth and the fields and the first handful of soil. I'm trying to get straight. I was there when he established the heavens, when he drew the horizons on the oceans. I was there when he set the clouds above, when he established springs deep in the earth. I was there when he set the limits of the seas so that they would not spread beyond their boundaries. And when he marked off the earth's boundaries, I was the architect at his side. I was his constant delight, rejoicing always in his presence. And how happy I was with the world he created, how I rejoiced with human family. And so, my child, listen to me, for all who follow me, who all follow my ways, are joyful. Listen to my instructions and be wise. Don't ignore it. Joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside of my home. For whoever finds me finds life and receives favor from the Lord. But those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. Who are they talking about? Or at least to me, who they're talking about.
Wisdom, the Lord.
Unrighteous people that are not looking for it.
Well, no, if you listen to it, the wisdom was there before anything was. So wisdom is the Word. God is the Word.
You asked who she was speaking to. I was saying.
Oh, I asked who she was.
Oh, who she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or who they're referring to. It's almost like you're talking about Jesus Christ, where Jesus Christ came, isn't it? Because through Jesus Christ, through all his wisdom, everybody that seeks him, they're saved. They have the righteousness of the Lord God with them. Everything. So, even in the Old Testament, they're speaking to me, he's speaking about Jesus Christ and the way he was coming in. But, going back to the sins we saw before, as long as we have the knowledge of the Bible, the knowledge of God, and follow the Word, we stay from getting into the sin. And staying away from it and keeping us whole. I mean, that's the hard part. I know I struggle with it every day with some of the stuff I go through. And without that book and without God and Jesus Christ, knowing that I'm saved through him, I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. I can't do it with anybody. I need help from everybody to do it. I mean, that's pretty much all I got out of there was you got to watch the path you're on. Because that path that you're on can lure you this way, or you got the wisdom to know what path you're supposed to be on. Because that woman talking sweet things in your ear, or that sin talking sweet things in your ear, and all your friends over here heading that way with that sweet things in your ear, can pull you that way. So make sure that you have the wisdom, you're in the Bible, you understand what's going on, and you have the knowledge you need to make the right decisions. If you don't make the right decisions, it's going to lead you on a path of non-salvation and everything. So I told you this is going to be short. It was a little shorter than what I was expecting.
Well, that's just to me the spirit of truth, the sword of truth, and exactly what you were saying, with both of these. The sin is just the opposite of the truth. If we follow the Word, which is God's truth, God's will, and we follow his truth, then we will have the discerning to stay away from that sin and that wickedness or whatever it is.
Correct.
But if we don't have that sort of truth in us, the understanding of his Word, then we can easily be deceived and let off of that path.
Correct. I mean, when you're saying that, I'm thinking back here, you talk about peer pressure. That's what the kids go through. The adults go through it, because that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's over here having so much fun. I know it's wrong, but they're having so much fun. Is it really that wrong? And society's saying, no, there ain't nothing wrong with it, come on. And stuff, but you gotta be able to have it the other direction.
Compromise.
Yeah, everybody wants to compromise. And
And people look the other way, like say somebody's doing something wrong to you, or they look the other way because they don't want anybody to,
think that they're a holy roller or anything else, or,
yeah.
Talk back out there.
right,
They don't take up for each other when there's something wrong. It just doesn't make sense.
correct. They don't want the persecution over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's really, look at this Bible. It's not written in gray or anything like that. It's written in black and white. It's either here or it ain't, one of the two. And we can't compromise what the Word says. That is one thing I've been getting out of all the things I have been listening to this last week and a couple of weeks, is you cannot compromise the Bible. Whatever it says is there. I mean, we've had discussions at my house on abortion. Okay?
Yeah, my dinner, Friday night dinner was quite,
Yeah, so, Danny was there, we all had a good discussion on that. I mean, it's black and white. It's, God made that child that's in there.
My preacher always said, a lot of people take it as buffet Christianity. You just pick and choose whatever you want, whatever you adapt to, whatever you want to live by, you just pick and choose.
Correct.
You live by all of it, or you live by none of it?
Yeah, I mean, that the buffet thing is very true. It's selective. It's like what we call good news preachers. All they're doing is going there and picking out everything that sounds good, that makes you think, that's going to give you value, give them money, and get whatever they need to get. Okay? Those are our false prophets that we're listening to. Those are the ones that we-
Buffet Christianity and the spiritual ATM machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll run back to that one deal, that one pernicious woman that's sitting there talking, because I guarantee you, every guy in here has heard that girl. There ain't one of us in here, even young ones, that haven't heard that girl talking, hey, y'all are, look at you, man, you are just so good. What do you do?
but I mean, that's almost like that song that we just had, Long Black Train. I mean,
Right.
that's exactly it.
Yep. So,
Well, we all heard the seduction, and we all have to be willing to persevere through persecution
correct.
to stand for what's right.
I heard something this morning, I was listening to them, they were talking about those that was over with the king and stuff, and they ended up putting him over everything and stuff. Remember, his wife tried to seduce him and stuff when everybody was gone, and she grabbed his robe. He didn't turn around and go, you got problems, we need to pray with you, and all this other stuff. No, he turned around and ran the other direction from sin.
That's right.
You're supposed to run from sin. Not sit there cozy up to it or think you can change it. Run from it.
Joseph and Potiphar's wife.
Joseph Bowser.
Yeah, that's right.
So, that's why I keep her around, see?
It's like whenever Lot and his wife were leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, and God told him, do not turn and look back. And Lot's wife turned around and looked back, turned into a pillar of salt,
That's
and she looked back on her sin.
Correct.
Thinking
She's
of,
missing it already.
And another place that's had me is Deuteronomy. First chapter of Deuteronomy. I mean, we're in the wilderness for 40 years walking around trying to get to the promised land. They finally get there, they send out people to scout, which God didn't tell them to, God just said take it. Okay, so they sent them out. So 12 people from 12 different tribes, and they come back. 2 of them say, hey, the Lord says it's our land, let's go. The other 10 say, oh man, there's giants, everything else, we can't do that. The Lord has given them everything they asked for, everything they needed to survive for 40 years. Their clothes didn't wear out, their shoes didn't fall off, they had food every day and everything. But the one thing he asked them to do, they stopped. So what did he do? Hey, you don't want it? Turn back around.
That's right.
You're going to be out there another 40 years.
Not a single adult lived to see
Not-
Joshua.
Correct. Not a single fighting man of age during that time got to see the promised land. Not even Moses, because he didn't do what God told him to do.
Moses, 800 years old.
Huh?
So Moses was like 800 years old.
Yeah. So just think, his last 80 years he spent roaming around the
Almost as
desert.
Yeah, Caleb Caleb, by the time they actually were allowed to go in, was into his 80s
Right.
and had waited 40-something years and could have very easily just sat back and let the young cats go down there, but instead he was at the front of the line going down to slay giants because he was one of the only two that actually believed what God told him.
And, well, you also notice in there, it tells you that, hey, they finally went, oh, God's telling us to go do this, so we better go do it anyway. I mean, after they turned around, and he told them, don't go back and fight, you will die. And stuff. And the ones that went back and fight, they died. They didn't win until they turned around and came back, and then they won everything. Won it all. So,
Faith,
Tom?
faith.
Faith.
And obedience.
That was the moral of the message this morning with Joseph and Potiphar's wife, is you have to have faith to lay it out there and do what you gotta do to move forward.
Correct. It's blind faith. It's just, I've been watching the deals on evolution versus God. Okay? So you ask them about evolution. Okay, so show me the change would happen. There's no proof, nothing they can show you. So they're instead believing in evolution, you still have blind faith that what they're telling you is true. There is no pure evidence of that. So believing in what God says is true is the same thing. It's blind faith. But I have proof. I've been reading stuff as architect. Now you can follow back in history where it's all true. So scientists can't show me that, but the Bible can. So which way should I be going? If I'm learning on blind faith, which one should I be believing in? The one that can show me, or the one that can't? So that's a big deal there. So anybody else got anything else, comments on this? I mean, that's sort of what this was for. It's just sort of an open Bible study where we go through on those two. So.
Just one thing I wanted to add.
Sure.
I know sometimes at my own work, and not because I'm the safety man, I feel like an oddball, but because I'm one of the few Christians. But God always...
Well, I mean, you are kind of odd.
Well, thank you very much.
I knew that.
But God always shows me in small ways that being a Christian and letting people know, not being bold enough to let people know you're a Christian, makes a difference. We all make a difference when we let our light shine, you know? And sometimes that's hard. Like I say, sometimes I feel like an eyeball because these guys are over here and the stuff I'm hearing, I'm like, oh, Lord,
Well,
please help me.
you know what? It's always interesting to see the people that notice it that you don't even necessarily realize notice.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Because, and, you know, I'm going to preface this the same way Donnie did. This isn't about me, but our weekly mass safety meetings, the normal safety guy always closes them in prayer. Well, our regular safety guy wasn't there a couple of weeks ago. One of the other safety guys was running the safety meeting. He came up to me before the meeting. This isn't somebody that really had any extensive conversation with. Came up to me before the safety meeting, pulled me off to the side. Hey, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Would you mind coming up and closing out the meeting? Yeah, no, I mean, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely. You put me in front of a room of 400 people and ask me to pray? Absolutely. But it's just those people that notice it that you don't realize are noticing it. And,
Right. It's just like he picked you out of 400 people to come up.
But that's where you live. Your outside life has to mirror your inside life.
You get that one comment from that one person that was about to go make a bad decision, and something you said or something you did comes into their mind, and they go, you know what? If he or she can do that, or they believe that, that gives them that step to go to wisdom instead of the seduction of the world.
Correct.
And that makes it all that unfriendliness and everything that's directed your way, makes it all worth it for that one person.
So you got nothing.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna add to both of these with the little testimony I have here. I go to these meetings at the VA and I try to bring up God and the Holy Spirit as much as I can, you know, and a lot of the guys are just so against it. but they've put up with me for years, you know. And not too long ago now, one of the guys had his daughter and his son were giving, I forget how it worked, but one of them was giving a kidney to the other, and the other was giving something to someone else, right? It was a three-way thing there. And so before the meeting was over, they said, Donnie, will you pray for us? You know, and that, it like to floored me right there, because, you know, they're so against, but every single person, and there's about 20 guys, bowed their head and listened, you know, and let me pray for them. And so you, like y'all are both saying, you never know who's listening and how deep they're comprehending what you're saying, you know. And, you know, I was just showing him, while we were sitting here listening to the music, the Bible says in Psalm 107 to testify, you know, give your testimony, and not to be afraid to speak of, you know, God's word and all that. I forget what it says exactly, but that, like he said, you know, just show that you're a Christian and take the beating, sacrifice your life for others. That's what that amounts to me. My little bit of sacrifice is going to help somebody, like he did, like they're saying, you know. That's part of sacrifice.
And you know, we've talked about this repeatedly. I know several of us have had this conversation in this room more than once, that oftentimes, if not, you know, more than half, the person that you're talking to isn't even necessarily what you're saying is intended for.
Right.
You know, it's the outlying reach, and the military calls it collateral damage, that
Right.
get pick up on it.
To hear.
Right. And it's after that safety meeting, 3 or 4 people that came by and they walked past my print check and just want to stop and talk.
Right.
You know, people I didn't know, whatever, you know, just want to stop and talk and want to ask questions. You know, so
That's wonderful.
just opening doors.
Yep, God gives you a confirmation, so to speak.
Well, you know, you also talk about that once you get into it, God starts surrounding you with people like and stuff. This last week, I was in Dallas and stuff, took customers to Papados. Last place you think about being surrounded by Christian people, right? So we sit there, we sit at our table. The group that the table is right next to us, evidently is like a church group or whatever, and they're talking about all their stuff they're setting up, going on the missions and all that right beside me. So I knew I had a Christian sitting beside me whenever I was out in that area and stuff. So you never know who's around you at that time too. Because as they were saying, it's always there. So, all right. Anything else? We got it. We got to get away from sin. We got to listen for that immoral woman speaking in our ears and directing us out of this. So, send a prayer. Lord, we come to you today, asking you to be our wisdom, to give us that knowledge and wisdom that we have, that we need to learn from you, Lord, that we can get only through your Bible and through being one with you. And we just ask you to guide us through our days and keep us on the right path for you, Lord. You know that path, and you're the only one that knows the path you have for us. And through believing in you and trusting in you and giving our blind faith to you, Lord, can we follow that path that you have for us. There's things happening in our world that we don't even know about that are leading on us on our path. Things that are years away that we will find out about that actually happen now to really keep us in that direction, Lord. We never know who's around or what they're speaking. We want to make sure that we always speak your word, Lord. And we just ask that you bless us in the holy name. Amen.
Amen.